Welcome to Fearless and Focused. I'm Brooke,
And I'm Casey,
and we're here to share bold stories, real talk,
and strategies to help you push past fear and level up.
Let's get fearless and focused.
All right, welcome everyone to a new episode of Fearless and Focused. We have like a special treat today because my partner in crime, Brooke Brillo, and I are going to do kind of like a solo podcast and really dive into our 2025 year and what we're wanting that to look like and how we're wanting that to show up. So I'm super excited to get on a little bit deeper and personal level with us today. So welcome, Brooke. Are you ready?
I am ready. I'm so excited. We talked about what we would do for our focused, one-on-one with each other. And you brought this up. I was like, yes, because I've been meaning to, that, gave me the push I needed to get everything that I wanted in 2025 down on paper, stated, affirmed, and put into the universe. Because, manifesting is my word this year. So I'm like, I got to manifest the things I want, right? So I looked at my 2024 because I did this for the first time in 2024, like ins and outs, like what I was going to do more of and what I was going to do less of. So I'm super excited today to share mine with you and hear yours. So you want to start?
Yeah, let's just, and for those that you who haven't done this, like I think this is such a good exercise to start with. And even though we're, into the year, first quarter, it's still okay. You can do it anytime. But for me, it just helps me like just stop for a moment and focus on like what I did in 2024 and celebrate my wins and then where I'm wanting to grow. It just helps bring like a lot of clarity, like personally and professionally. So I love this activity. I remember seeing yours last year and I'm like, that is so good. And so I did it right away after I seen yours. And then I've like just all, stayed on top of that. And so, yeah, so 2024 ins and outs. So I'll start with one of my 2025 ins is I'm going to turn over and give up some more control. So, I need to delegate better. I'm in super growth mode. So it's like you're one person, Casey. I know you like to control and make everything perfect, but you've got to, in order to get to the next level, you've got to delegate that and turn that over a little bit more. And so I've done that since the first of the year. It's been uncomfortable. Like I'm not going to lie. It's a little, because here's an example. We had like a big, mastery session last week and some of the ladies got the link and then some of the ladies got the wrong link. And it's like, I had, turned that over to my team for automation and said like, put this together for me and put that out. And so it wasn't perfect because I didn't have my hands in it. And so some of it was off and some of it was a little wrong, but I'm like, you know what? It got done. We all got on the training session together and nobody missed it and it's recorded anyways and all the things, and that's just a learning lesson to help my team get better and better on my style and the automation and the links that I use, and because I do a lot of different things. So that is one of my big ins for this year, is giving up some control and delegating more so I can grow.
So that's huge. For us type A personalities, want to get it done, think we can handle it, but like I would rather just do it myself than spend the time to show someone else and then not have it be as good. Like that's hard. But how will they learn? How will they learn? And so I have really embodied that as well over the years, because I knew like if I was going to grow and grow as fast as I wanted to grow, I could do it alone and it's going to take a really long time and I was going to burn myself out. Or I could hand over the reins a little bit, give up some things. And, like you said, it might not be perfect, but it works and they're going to grow from that. They learn from that. Had a little mishap. Oh, we won't do that again. Right. So I think it's so important. I love that. So some of mine, I have an issue with, like failing, fear of failure, and what everyone's going to think. Like that's a big thing. But like when you're growing, that is part of it, right? Is the failure. And I know this, like people think, oh, they see the highlight reel, right? You got it all together. But I mean, does anyone really have it all together? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to quit worrying about, failing as much in appearances and what other people think, because that is the way to success, is through failure and through overcoming obstacles and challenges and all of those things. So it's one of those things that I'm really trying to hone in on. Like, it's okay to still be, 17 years into this business and anything I do, it's okay to still fall on your face. You're never going to have it all together. And it's okay to ask for help, because, one of the things that it's been challenging for me is, when I became a coach, it was like, I got to know it all. I got to know it all. It's got to be perfect. Kind of like what you said. And like, no, it's not. And I don't have it all together. So it's okay to fail, and it's okay to ask for help. And I'm living that right now because, we have a coach. I have a coach. We have one of the same coaches. And I don't think that's a sign of weakness or failure. I think that's smart.
Yeah, it's so smart. And relate to everything that you're saying is that, I think too, when you can like put yourself out there a little bit more and be authentic and talk about your mistakes and your failures, then that also gives others permission to go after bigger things. Like, I think that's one of the big things that holds people back, is that they're afraid to fail, and so they think they got to dial everything in and not go after it until it's all dialed in. But then when they can see leaders out there that's like, oh my gosh, like I did this, it was like a total hot mess, I was freaking out on the back end and stuff, but that gives them a little bit more permission to be like, okay, it doesn't, like, I can still go after this, and I'm going to figure my way, through it as I grow. And so, yeah, I think that especially for females, like, we need more women doing that.
I think the biggest thing is like taking that first step, because
Mm-hmm.
fear holds so many people back all of the time. And, and it was like, to me, is one of two things. It's either going to fuel you forward or it's going to hold you back. So which one are you going to be? Is it going to keep you from the happiness that you want to get to because you're too scared to take the first step because you don't know what's out there? Like, we took the first step with this podcast, not knowing what the hell we were doing. We still don't know what we're doing, to be honest. People, we don't know what we're doing. We're winging it. But our message is getting out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know where this podcast is going to take us. I didn't know that opening the doors of my scratch agency 17 years ago was going to lead into all of the things that have led up to right now. And I think if I would have seen the big picture 17 years ago, I would have been scared shitless, right? So, like, you can just see kind of the next few steps and be open to taking those. And then like, you're okay. I did it. Or I failed and I learned this. And so now I'm ready to move on to the next step. I think that's so huge.
Yeah, it's so huge. And, like I was saying, it gives permission for others to do the same. And also, I think that, this leads into like one of my other 2025s was like, putting myself out there even more and being in bigger rooms. And I think that you just, touching onto the podcast, seeing as like, we don't know what we're doing. Like, we're just starting this. Like, we did hire someone to like at least put together the back end for us. So thank God. Thank you. Shout out to Diego for helping with
Diego, we love
that.
you.
Yes. But like, I still feel like even though we don't have it all dialed in, we've still put ourselves out there and asked some really big game players to be on our podcast, which they've said yes. So we can't wait to, drop out all of that. But I think that it's like, how big do you want to play? Do you want to like be very small in the background and try to dial it in and not get any traction? So then you get overwhelmed and just give up? Or it's like, okay, no, we're doing this. We're going all in. We're going to start dripping into some bigger players' DMs. And what's the worst they're going to say is no, and nobody has yet. So it's been so amazing.
I know. I'm so excited for that. You mentioned like big players. So I gotta have like a little brag moment, just a tiny brag moment. Like, you know what? It's okay to brag on yourself. If you put yourself out there and something awesome happens, be your own best cheerleader, 100% do it. But you know what I'm talking about, because you sent me a DM. You're like, oh my God, did that really just
Totally.
happen? I'm like, it really just happened. So I put a post out there on Instagram about the let them theory. Have you read that book yet?
Yeah, listening to it now, listening to the
Oh,
audio, love it.
game
All the
changer.
things. Like, it's my favorite thing to listen to when I'm driving.
Yes. So this was part of my, 2025 ends for sure. Like, let them and let me. And when I use that, to like let them think whatever they're going to think, let them say whatever they're going to say, and let me go on doing what I want to do to make me happy. So I put kind of a business version out there, and Mel Robbins, the Mel Robbins, commented on it. And when I first saw it, I read it and I was like, huh, that's weird. And I was like, oh my God, Mel Robbins just commented on my, I like screenshot. I gasped. We're going down the road. My husband was driving. He's like, what? Oh my gosh, what is going on? And I was like, Mel Robbins just commented on my post. Me, little me. He was like, who is that? And I'm like, oh my gosh, you wouldn't understand. And then immediately, like, I started getting texts from people like, holy crap, did she just really post? And I was like, screenshot share forever. Like, that was such a huge moment for me because that book, her book, listening to her book, because I'm Audible, I don't read anything, I'll fall asleep. For her to comment, take the time to comment and on my little post, wow, like that made the world to me and just boosted my confidence to no end. So I think that's just so huge, so huge. So I had to
Well,
have a
yeah,
brag moment.
and a total brag moment. And don't you think that that's like just a little like validations from the universe or that you're in alignment or whatever when you just get those little validations that it's like, okay, my message is important and I'm so glad that I did put this out there and I'm staying consistent and I posted this, because you never know when that moment is going to happen. And I was like dying so hard for you, texting you, you're like, oh my God, I just almost made my husband wreck. And so I was laughing and telling my husband, and he said the same thing. Well, who's Mel Robbins? I'm like, hello, Mel Robbins. Like, this is a big deal for
It's
Brooke.
a huge deal.
It's such a huge deal. So yeah, I love the theory. I think that it fits in so much with what we talk about and what we want the podcast to be with or be about. And then also leading into, can we talk about Summit and how you're going to pull that into our Summit?
Yes, I am so excited about Summit. So we have an activity, or I have an activity that I'm going to do, kind of around the let them. And I don't want to give all the goodies away, but we're going to have an amazing activity around the let them theory. And then we're going to have one around just putting ourselves out there, being vulnerable, and then knowing that you're not alone. And that's all I'm going to say, though. That's all I'm going to say. But the summit, I cannot wait. It was amazing last year being in a room with, and one of my ends is to self-development. This is going to be an amazing self-development conference for women, especially women in insurance. Doesn't matter what carrier you're with or a business owner. Like, it is going to be huge because last year when I went, I met so many amazing women that I would have never met before because they were all across the United States. I flew out there. I was like, I'm going to do more self-development. And then this year, I've contributed to doing like 5 different development courses, conferences. And this one is like the one I'm most excited about because I know how much I got out of it last year and walked away feeling confident, new connections, new friendships, new people that I could talk to about when things were like not going my way and am I alone? And no, you're not. And have those things. And I have like amazing friendships from that one conference and so many to count. And so I hope I see all those same people and new people this year. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait.
Well, yeah, and I think that there's like nothing more. I've been doing events for women since 2018, since I sold my agencies and really got into this, and that there's just nothing more powerful than bringing a group of women together that, even though we are in, have different carriers and we're independent or exclusive or whatever that looks like, or even just like a leader in the agency, we all share as women the same common goal. Like, we love giving back, we love making a difference, we love helping other women feel included and like they're learning and growing. And so I think that that's sometimes we think that we need all of these powerful new sales systems and strategies and ideas, but a lot of times it just dials back to yourself and the confidence in yourself, and surrounding yourself by women who are really going after it. And it's like that little mindset shift and that piece is what really helps take your agency to the next level. So that's all the stuff that Summit's about. It's June 19th and 20th in Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm so excited. You'll probably be hearing this podcast in March. So you have plenty of time to sign up. So you can just go to our website, sheleadsinsurance.co. And then there's an event section on there. The title of the summit this year, because I love changing up the title, is Bold Women, Bold Moves, which I feel like is super in alignment for everything that Brooke and I are doing together and some of the other things that I'm doing for my brand. So yeah, I would love all of the female agents across the country to join us and just share in the mission of really helping empower and inspire women in the industry.
I love it. I love it. I love it so much. I can't wait. Seriously, it's my favorite thing that can't wait to go to this year. Okay, so a new one for me this year. So I've said manifesting millions of times. We need to have a guest on for manifesting. If someone knows someone who's really, really good at manifesting, DM us, let us know, because I would love to have someone. I'm not a pro at this. This is new for me, but it's calling to me. And like every time like I feel that nudge, like I'm walking towards it instead of like, what is it? I don't even know what this is, where I'm going, but I'm just trying to be in alignment. See my 555 necklace? Same thing. So that's manifesting for me. So if you're like, I don't even know what that is, here's the simplest of terms. So it's bringing your goals, bringing your desires, instead of wishing, you're actually putting your time, your energy, your focus, and being open to the possibilities and things that align with what you want, like putting it out there in the universe and making it happen. So like I have been for years manifesting this podcast in my head. Wasn't the right timing. We've talked about this previously. Now I'm like, okay, where is this going to go from here? Right? I'm manifesting like becoming a better version of myself. Not perfect. No one's ever going to be perfect. I don't expect. I am, if you know me, like chaos coordinator, here I am. But I am trying to manifest a better version of myself in health, my mental health, doing things that make me happy, because I do a lot of checking the boxes throughout my day. So I'm really trying to manifest putting myself in positions and opportunities that bring me the most happiness and joy and that make me feel, confident and bold. So where all those things will lead, do I have like an end goal in mind? No, but I'm going with the flow, with the opportunity and where it takes me.
And you know what? And I love, you know me, I'm so into my numbers and manifesting and all of that. And this is what I love about you and that you're talking about this, because I remember in 2018 when I started doing events and retreats, I remember like thinking out to, all of my all state ladies and my community and stuff. And I really wanted to talk about like manifesting and, what does it mean to be in alignment, and your intuition and trusting that and all of that. And I remember thinking like, it seems like to me there's always a big gap between like manifesting in numbers and that kind of thing, and then professional women, and that they think that on if you talk about that or whatever, you're being like woo woo and like
Right.
kind of out there, because as professional women, like we're in this box and we got to fit in this box and we can't, talk about different things like that. So I remember when I started doing the retreats, I was thinking, okay, I can't. I'm gonna, use these ladies' lingos that they're used to. I'm not gonna talk about manifesting or anything like that, or else I'm not gonna get them there. So, I use different marketing terms that they're used to get them there. So then I could start talking about manifesting and alignment and all these, things that I think is so important. And I think that, professional women that really start stepping into that, they just become like this powerhouse because they're trusting themselves more and they're trusting their instincts. But we're not really conditioned or taught to do that. So I love that you, being this professional woman powerhouse in the insurance industry, is starting to use some of these different theories and stuff.
Right. Well, woohoo or whatever or not, like I'm here for it, because it is truly, since I started manifesting and having these affirmations and putting out what I want in the universe and being open to it, it has made me happy. It has made me happy, and it's got me one step closer to the goals that I'm looking to do to level up. So my thing is like, I'm just not going to care what people think. You think it's woohoo? Okay, cool. That's fine. You don't have to be on my same page, but doing what makes me happy is important. And I feel like that should be the ultimate thing. Unless it is your actions are hurting someone else, why do you care what they think? It is your journey. So woohoo or not, like I'm here for it, manifest away, mic drop, don't care.
Yeah, so and oftentimes I think too as we get a little bit older, we realize that their opinions really aren't about us anyways. It's more of like a
Their
self-reflection on
insecurities.
them
Yeah,
of like, they want to play bigger or maybe, but they're just too, they just won't do it. They're too afraid or whatever. So it's really, I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned is like, if somebody wants to say something or talk or comment and it's not that nice, it's like it's really not, it has nothing to do with me. That's like their stuff and their baggage and their healing that they need to kind of dive into and just move right along, because like that's not, I'm not going to let that bring me down or tear me down or stop me for sure.
right. Like don't invest your emotional capital in other people's thoughts and actions because you can't control them anyway, right? So if you're going to focus on what you control, that's one thing you can't. So, absolutely.
Yeah, be kind, reply back, wish them well, wish that they start taking those bold moves that they're seeing us take that they're not doing, and move right along. So I love this. I love everything that we're talking about today. Do you want to share another 2025? And I feel like the ins and outs kind of have went right back and forth to each other, right? It's like things we're getting rid of from dragging from 2024
Mm-hmm.
into 2025, what we're doing, what we're launching, getting in bigger rooms, asking for, people to uh, be on our podcast that is like so many steps ahead of us because we're just starting. What's something else that we're forgetting?
Let's see. I'm looking at my list because I have a list that I made. Let's see. Um, one of and this was on there last year, and I really struggled with it. So it's on my list this year too. So setting boundaries, because I burn out easy. That's why, and I talked about this at the summit last year. Like burnout, work life balance, is that a real thing? No, it's not. So I'm really the only thing that is going to fix that is me setting boundaries because I'm the one who's letting myself be available at all times. And I think people think that if you're, because everything is on all the time, the internet, social media, like notifications are just blowing up all of the time. And you can allow yourself to become a slave to the grind. And I do that so much, I will run into a wall. And then I'm like, oh gosh, I've got to rest and reset. So now I've just set boundaries for myself on that. So that's back on the list this year with more intention to keep those boundaries. And one of the things I do, and I talked about this last year, so I'll say it as a good tip. When you're setting those boundaries, use I use my calendar to do that because I live and die by my calendar, what my appointments are, what my day looks like, all of that. And if I don't put boundaries in there, like I need this to like time block, or I need this to just think, or I need this to go exercise, and then when I sign off, I sign off. I started turning my phone on do not disturb at a certain time so that I wouldn't get even the notifications that a new email came in, because here I am checking it at 10 o'clock at night if it's on. So that's one thing that's back on the list this year with more intention.
Yeah, and I don't think that's ever like, especially as a female, going to be solved, right? Because
Right.
we're doers. We
I'm
want to
doing
help
my best.
everybody. Yeah, so we want to help everybody. We don't want to see anyone struggle. And so, yeah, I think it's just so important to, not only have boundaries with work and, clients, coaching, going over time limits, texting you back and forth, or those type of things, with team members, and just like you said, actually scheduling it on your schedule so they can see that you're busy at that time. That's amazing stuff to do. And then I think also bringing that into your personal life and
Mm.
realizing that we go through seasons as women, and I think that work life balance is not a thing. It's just a matter of like, what season are you in? Are you in, raising adults and teenagers? Are you empty nester? What season is that? And then because your work and your life and the balance is going to look totally different. through that. So I think that it's so important too, is, having boundaries with family and being like, okay, this is, I'm on right now. So like, I can't answer your text or your call or whatever. Like, I'm in my zone, and being okay to say like, I'm in my zone. I'm making big moves. I'm not going to be as available as I used to be, because like I'm out there doing a lot of big stuff, and I got to make sure that I, like Brooke, don't hit that wall. So yeah, so important to bring that in, and it's just a reminder. And we're never going to be perfect, and we're gonna hit a wall sometimes, and it's like it's okay. Just be aware of it and stop and reset, and recharge yourself. That doesn't mean that you're weak or that you can't handle it all.
Right.
It's like you need, your mind needs a break. So such an important topic for us to talk about.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that is huge. You have the business side of things, and then you have, the family, the friends side of things, as far as boundaries and negativity there, right? So it's so important, like you said, like no one's perfect. I'm doing my best. It is not intentional if I don't call you back at a certain time, or if I don't answer your text immediately. And I think more of us need to continue to tell ourselves that, because we are technology makes us so available. People think we've got to be right on it. And, I just can't, if I'm going to give myself the mental space that I need. So it's not intentional, but I will, I need to prioritize as much as possible. And I am trying to keep negativity outside, because that affects me, right? That affects, you are if you hang out with two negative people, you become the third, right? So I'm not going to, I still love you, but if I'm here in this space, I don't want to be dragged down by your constant, so I need some type of boundary there. Doesn't mean I don't love you. Doesn't mean I don't want to help you, but I do have to put boundaries up for my own peace of mind, for my own mental well-being.
Yeah, it's so important. And I just think it's just so important for us to model that for others, because a lot of times, like, we don't even know how to do that, right? You don't know how to create, everybody says, create boundaries, but it's like, how do you even do that? So it's like, I think that when you see more women, especially leaders, doing that and modeling that, then it's like, oh, okay. Like we give the permission for them to do that. And then also some examples of how to do it. So such an important topic. We're going to talk about this and dive into it so much more on our podcast this year. If you're liking the content and stuff, and when you hear this podcast, make sure you follow us and subscribe. We now have our first, tell them about our Instagram page, Brooke,
Oh
where
my
they can
gosh,
follow us,
yes.
all the fun things that we're doing on there, all the giveaways.
All the fun things, all the giveaways. So make sure you go follow us on Instagram, fearless and focus _podcast. So for some reason, if you can't follow, we said we're breaking the internet. We had some issues with, us getting going, because we were getting so many notifications. It really did think it was a bot, and it shut us down 2 different times. So if you can't get in, try again. I promise we're watching it. But we would love for you to follow us. Every single Friday, we will drop a new episode. It'll be teasers. It'll be on our story. You'll, follow us, follow our personal pages, so we can give you, insight to upcoming things. And then make sure you follow the page. You can listen to us on Spotify. You can listen to us on YouTube. All the places that you would find your podcast. We're super excited, and we hope that you are loving this. And it truly is, like, from our heart. We want to be real. We want to be, truthful with you guys, and put ourselves out there. And our guests are the same way. We're asking these women who are amazing to kind of spill their guts too, give us the good, bad, and the ugly. And so we're here for it. We hope you are too.
Yes. And thank you for everyone that's already supported us and sent us messages and are like, where's the link? Has it dropped yet? It's just nice to be like, this is a space where I think that, especially in the insurance industry, there's a big gap for female agents. And so it's just, I love being able to collaborate with you on just, going to Belize and doing a podcast episode in Belize, and then the summit, and just tying all of these messages into the insurance industry. I just think it's so important.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in to Fearless and Focused. Remember, success is not about being perfect. It's about showing up, staying bold, and taking action.
If you love this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who could use a little inspiration.
Keep chasing your dreams, staying fearless, and keeping your focus strong.
Until the next time, stay
Fearless and focused.